Hi, welcome to SJR Chemistry. Last class we discussed Bose-Einstein statistics and we derived the equation for the distribution of Ni particles in EI energy levels. In this lesson we are discussing Fermi-Dirac statistics. Fermi-Dirac statistics, the third statistics and the second of our quantum statistics. The first quantum statistics it is Bose-Einstein statistics and the second statistics it is Fermi-Dirac statistics. And the main assumption of this FD statistics. The first one it is as usual in our in the previous case also in our Bose-Einstein statistics also, that is the particles are indistinguishable. The particles are indistinguishable. So you cannot identify one particle from other particle. The second one is only one particle can occupy a given energy level at a time. That's a major difference from FD statistics and the other two statistics. In Maxwell-Boltzmann and Bose-Einstein statistics, any number of particles can be accommodated in a given energy level, but here only one particle can occupy in a given energy level at a time. And third one, energy levels are degenerate. Energy levels are degenerate. And the particles, normally particles obeying FD statistics, Fermi-Dirac statistics are known as fermions. Fermions. That is particles to obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. Particles with half integral spin. Half integral spin obey FD statistics. Example, proton, electron, then He, that is helium-3, nitric oxide, etc. So these are some particles, some of the particles which obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. So half integral spin is important. The particles with the half integral spin obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. Then we are directly moving to the derivation of the equation. Suppose there are Ni particles distributed in Ga energy level. Okay, Ga energy level. Then first particle is occupied. Then first particle can occupy any of the Ga levels. First particle can occupy any of the Ga levels. Then once the first particle is occupied, second particle can occupy any of the G-1 sublevels. Because after occupying one particle, the remaining valency, the remaining available energy levels, sublevels are J-1. When two particles are occupied, the available levels are J-2. When three particles are occupied, then 3 has already gone. So the remaining valency it is J-3 and so on and so on. So up to Gi minus Ni. So the accommodation will be going on from Gi, any levels of Gi. first particle can occupy any levels of Gi, and second particle can occupy any levels of Gi minus 1, and third particle can occupy any levels of Gi minus 2, so and so and so up to Gi minus Ni sublevels. So the possible arrangements of Ni particles in Gi energy levels in such a way that one particle can occupy only one energy level is arrangement of Ni particle in Gi levels in such a way that one particle can occupy one energy level. Only one particle can occupy one energy level, which is equal to Gi factorial divided by Gi minus Ni factorial. One more thing we have to remember. The particles are indistinguishable, so there may be a repetition of the same arrangement. So we have to divide this equation by possible permutation of number of particles Ni. Possible permutation of number of particles Ni is equal to Ni factorial. So we have to divide this equation by possible permutation of Ni particles, that is Ni factorial. So the total arrangement equal to arrangement of Ni particles in Gi levels equal to Gi factorial divided by Ni factorial into Gi minus Ni factorial. That's the possible arrangement of Ni particles in Gi level, so as only one particle can accommodate one energy level. Then thermodynamic probability. As usual, thermodynamic probability W is equal to pi of Gi factorial divided by Ni factorial into Gi minus Ni factorial. So obtaining maximum probability, we are taking the logarithm of this one, that is ln W is equal to sigma ln Gi factorial minus sigma ln Ni factorial minus sigma ln Gi minus Ni factorial. So we can expand this equation using Stirling's approximation, and we know what is Stirling's approximation when ln x factorial, which is equal to x ln x minus x. We are using the same approximation here, so we get ln W is equal to sigma Gi ln Gi minus sigma Gi. Sigma of Gi minus ln Gi minus Gi, so we get this one. Then sigma Ni ln Ni, sigma minus is common, so minus of ln Ni minus Ni, so minus Ni into minus become plus, so plus sigma Ni minus Gi minus Ni ln Gi minus Ni. Then again ln Gi minus Ni minus Gi minus Ni. There is some negative here, so negative and negative it become positive. So plus, sorry, here there is a sigma Gi minus Ni. That is the expansion obtained here. Then negative Gi, positive Gi, positive Ni, negative Ni, sigma Ni. So we get ln W is equal to sigma Gi ln Gi minus sigma Ni ln Ni minus sigma Gi minus Ni ln Gi minus Ni. That's our equation after applying Stirling's approximation. So, as we told earlier, at maximum value, the derivative of a function become 0 or will vanish. So we are taking the derivative of this function, that is equal to 0. Then d of sigma Gi ln Gi minus d of sigma ni ln ni minus sigma derivative of sigma gi minus ni ln gi minus ni minus ni. That's the equation. Then gi, as we know, the total degeneracy is always constant, so this term becomes 0. So we get minus ni into dln ni minus, that is keeping ni constant, differentiating ln ni, then ln ni constant dni, right, minus sigma common, then or we can take it sigma as common here, then minus gi minus ni into df ln gi minus ni minus, that is keeping gi minus ni constants, differentiating ln gi, then keeping ln gi minus ni constant, that is ln gi minus ni into differential of dgi minus ni, which is equal to 0, which is equal to 0. Then this one, which is equal to minus ni into 1 by ni dni minus ln ni into dni minus gi minus ni into ln gi minus ni, we can write it as gi minus ni dni, that is gi minus ni, this one, and log of this one is equal to 1 by gi minus ni into dgi minus dni. dgi is 0 because gi is constant, then minus dni into minus dni minus, this is constant, so keeping constants, that is gi minus ln gi minus ni into dgi is 0 because again gi is constant, then minus dni into minus dni is equal to 0. So cancel each other and then this cancel each other, we get forget one thing, that is whole into sigma, okay, sorry, then this will cancel, we get dni, this will cancel, then minus into minus plus dni, so we get sigma into minus dni minus ln ni dni minus into minus plus dni minus again there is a minus dni, so it become plus, so ln gi minus ni into dni, which is equal to 0. Then again this minus and the plus cancel each other, so we get which is equal to w into ln minus ln ni dni plus ln gi minus ni dni is equal to 0. right? Then log A minus log B, right? dni is common, so which is equal to sigma ln gi minus ni divided by ni into dni is equal to 0. This is our equation number 1. Equation number 1. Then, as usual, we don't know the values of g, and n. That is, we have to solve this equation. For that, we are using Lagrange's undetermined multipliers. For that, we are assuming that is total number of particles, that is sigma ni is equal to 0. So sigma dni is equal to 0. Equation number 1, that is 2. We are multiplying this by, suppose it is equation number 2. Similarly, total energy is equal to sigma ni into ei. So differential of that one, that is ei into dni is equal to 0. That's our equation number 3. Multiply equation number 2 by alpha and 3 by beta. We get alpha into sigma dni is equal to 0. Equation number 4. Beta into sigma ei dni is equal to 0. Equation number 5. Add these two and subtract from 1. That is 1 minus 4 plus 5 gives, that is sigma ln gi minus ni divided by ni minus sigma dni minus beta sigma ei dni is equal to 0. And we done earlier, we just taken out the sigma and dni common, so we get sigma ln gi minus ni divided by ni minus alpha minus beta ei into dni is equal to 0. And as we discussed earlier, there should be a specific number of particles, so dni never be 0, so we are equating the coefficient to 0. So ln gi minus ni divided by ni is equal to alpha plus beta ei. Or gi minus ni divided by ni is equal to e raised to alpha plus beta ei. We can write this as gi by ni minus 1. gi by ni minus 1 which is equal to e raised to alpha plus beta ei. And gi by ni is equal to e raised to alpha plus beta ei plus 1. That is ni is equal to, you can write that here, ni is equal to gi divided by e raised to alpha plus beta ei plus 1. This is our Fermi-Dirac statistics, Fermi-Dirac distribution of ni particle in ei energy levels with the gi degeneracy. You can also rewrite it as ni equal to gi into e raised to minus alpha minus beta ei plus 1. So this equation gives the distribution of possible distribution of ni particles in ei levels with the degeneracy gi according to Fermi-Dirac statistics. Okay. So this is our Fermi-Dirac equation for Fermi-Dirac statistics, and we can discuss the remaining part in our next lesson. Thank you for listening.